Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, the title of this message is When the Narcissist Rejects Change, Truth. When the narcissist rejects change, truth. We have those narcissists who come to our channels, whether we know them or not, who don't mind thumbing down a message of truth, a message that promotes change, a message that says a lot about them, and very little that has nothing to do with them. It's best to focus in on that sentence or that paragraph that has nothing to do specifically with the narcissist who comes through. That way, one doesn't have to accept the truth in the part of the message that shares about 90% of who they are, you see. If I don't want to face the facts that I have these issues in my life, whatever those issues might be, I'm going to zero in on the part that has nothing to do with me. Or I'm going to find some type of faults and then reject what that person is saying. We do this sort of thing every now and again. We don't have to be narcissists to do it. The fact that somebody knows you a little too well, they can be able to say some things that are very cutting. They know something about you, yet you never revealed anything. God is moving, saints as well as sinners. And whether the narcissist wants to believe that in these last days, God is using people to expose him or her, it doesn't matter, right? Their opinion, their belief. All God wants is for that self-centered, self-absorbed, self-righteous, prideful person to change. And in order to change, one has to face the truth. And in order for one to make the necessary steps towards any type of healing, he or she is going to have to see the flaws within his or herself. The narcissist doesn't want you sitting down and talking to him or her about 5 different situations and 7 different things that he or she did that offended you. Okay, so since you can't get through to him or her, God says, I will raise up situations that there is no denying. There is no lying or covering up. You are at fault, narcissist. You should have gotten the healing that I provided for you way back when the opportunity was there to talk to the professional counselor, when the opportunity was there to be prayed over, when the opportunity was there to have those demons casted out of you. Rather than sit in the back of the church, you should have been sitting in the front of the church. Rather than looking around, come on, I'm talking to some so-called believers. Rather than looking around at the next person you wanted to have sex with, you should have been looking around for somebody to come and lay hands on you and call out the demonic. Years of this foolishness has been going on with some of these self-centered, self-righteous, prideful individuals. Years. They've been in relationship after relationship and still they can't seem to get it right because there was some abuse. Come on, I'm telling somebody's truth. There was some abuse that took place years ago that affected one's identity. He or she had an identity crisis of sorts. Couldn't really make up in his or her mind whether one wanted to be free sexually, meaning being with anybody and everybody, to summarize it. Didn't make up in his or her mind completely whether or not he or she wanted a family. Wasn't quite sure whether or not he or she wanted God in or out of his or her life. You see, there was a lot of wishy-washy stuff. Self-centered people, they tend to be wishy-washy when it comes to who's going to meet my needs. Well, I want to go over here, but is she going to meet my needs? I want to go down this path, but is he going to meet my needs? Okay, maybe I'll go along with this programming just to get my needs met. But then once I get my needs met, then I'm going to go over here and see if I can be able to get something from them, because I know that at some point I'm not going to agree with all of what's going on over here. You see, it's confusing even saying all of that. But at the end of the day, some of you all, you know who you're dealing with. You know who's around you. You know who's at the workplace, at home, at the church, on the street, at the next family event, who's like this. Oh, she or he is not going to admit to any type of abuse, any type of flaws in one's personality, any type of faults. No, they're not going to admit to any of it, because remember, always remember this. The narcissist wants to look good in the eyes of others. They are not going to be vulnerable. They're not going to have that tell-all book. They're not going to have that tell-all conversation with you. I need for you to see me as an angel of light, even though I'm nothing more than an angel of the devil, says the narcissist. Of course, they wouldn't say that. But you see, we know what the real is. We know what the truth is. And we know that in order for a person to really live their best life now, they're going to have to be willing to change. So those of us who do care, who do love, who do want what's best for the narcissist, we're going to say the types of things to direct them towards some help. We're going to expose some things. God is going to use us. I know some people, oh, but you don't know how he is or how she is. I know, but sometimes you got to go through those battles, because the only way people can really see where you stand even is if you open up your mouth and you walk up to that narcissist and you say, here, I'm drawing a line in the sand right now. There is something wrong with you. And then they may say, well, wait a minute, what are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with you, right? And some people don't even advise that, but there does come that point where you do have to straight up tell them. No more beating around the bush. No more, trying to keep the peace. This situation right here, you're wrong in. I'm not going to jail behind this. I'm not going to my grave prematurely. I mean, those type of conversations. That's what I'm talking about. We're not talking about some petty stuff, some things that we can just, we'll just ignore. It's no big deal. I'm talking about that serious stuff where somebody might end up losing a home. You got to talk. You got to say, listen, this is ridiculous what you're doing. You can't keep putting on this front. We need help. You better get on the phone and make a phone call. You see, some narcissists, they rather suffer, wallow in their mess with a smile on their face, rather than pick up the phone and call, let's say, human services, aka welfare. Okay. You know that you're suffering right now. You know you don't have any money coming in. You rather browbeat somebody in the household about getting more money than to go down to the welfare office, fill out an application, and see what you can get. You see what I mean? This is how crazy this thing looks when you're dealing with this person who is about putting on fronts and facades. We got some folks that rather than tell an individual that they are in danger of losing their job again, or possibly already lost it, but just covering up some things, they will tell lie after lie after lie. Then when things are okay and all right, then they may start telling some truths. Okay. They're not going to say exactly how they lost that job. Okay. This is how narcissists are. They tend to do this sort of thing. And then you're sitting back and you're looking at them and you're saying, do you realize that you are putting unnecessary stress, pressure, upset on a family, all because you don't want to go out here and get some help? All because you want to keep lying about what happened at the workplace or with the relative even. Sometimes they are not going to speak truth about the falling out that they had with the relative. They want you to believe that everything's okay and all right with their family, If you are the one that speaks up about things that took place with your family, they don't mind putting their mouth on your issues. But meanwhile, you want to turn the conversation around and you want to find out some things about what's going on with your family. Oh, we're good. We're fine. We don't have those kind of issues that you and your family have. Some of you all in relationships, you know how this goes. He or she will never tell you about the issues that arise in his or her family, but yet you'll go and you'll tell them some things. After a while, that gets old too. Why should I be open with the narcissist about what's going on with my people? Why should I tell my personal business? I thought we were in a relationship, but now it becomes my personal business to somebody who all they're going to do is sit back and judge. She's having those problems because, well, she tends to have that type of personality where she doesn't get along with this one and that one. And, well, I'm not going to tell her too much of anything so that she can sit up there and talk about me. You see, they're going to make sure that they protect their personal business. They manage their facade. They make sure that they always look good in the eyes of others, and they don't mind figuring out a way to shut you up, shut you down, set you apart, set you aside, reject you for speaking truth and for wanting very much for him or her to change. Lying, stealing, breaking all sorts of commandments. The narcissist will put his or her flying monkeys up to doing things because, once again, I'm protecting my reputation, says the narcissist. Okay? And if you're close to him or her, you're not supposed to point those things out. What you did is real foul, real foul. Well, I had to do what I had to do, and you just keep your mouth shut. So what is this really about? What are you talking about? What is this really about, all these decisions that you're making? It's really about you, right? It's not about the family. Oh, I love the family. I just want what's best for the family. So you're willing to tell these stories to your family and other people. You're willing to steal from Peter and take from Bob. Oh, street hustlers. They don't have any type of remorse when they are after something. And we're talking more specifically narcissistic street hustler types. I'm using an example like this for people who are in those type of communities where there is none of that. I'm going to sit back and think about all of what I did, and I have my regrets, and I'm going to go to the church and repent for my sins. No. And some of these individuals are not only narcissistic, as we talked about in the past, but they're also psychopathic. So they're cold-hearted, cold-blooded folk. Aren't you going to feel bad about what you just did? No, I'm getting me some rest. No, I'm not going to feel bad. Look, this is about my family. This is about my money. This is about my car, my house, whatever. Did something crazy, off the wall. Didn't get caught for it. And if you act like you want to expose, and that narcissistic, psychopathic type of person finds out about it, they're going to let you have it. And then go back to sleep. Okay? Now, I know for some of you all, you haven't come across somebody that cold. But if you stick around on this planet long enough and you keep making some unwise decisions by attracting these cold-blooded, cold-hearted, narcissistic type of people, but you're not sticking around long enough, though. But if you do, you'll get a taste of how they are, because they do turn on you. They turn on you because you might be that conscience that they don't want to hear from. You might be that morally uprighteous citizen or what have you, and they don't want to hear about what they're doing is wrong. And some individuals who are very self-centered, they don't mind, as I've said in other audio, to put the children up to doing some of their bidding as well. They don't care about people around them. All they care about is how the people make them feel and what they can do for them. It appears as if the narcissist loves others, but that's not correct. It's just an appearance. It's just a facade. Some of you all, you felt empty being in these relationships. You felt like there was a disconnect, even in those intimate moments. And you're right. You're right. A person who has been abused, let's stay there for a moment, because see, the narcissist doesn't want that to get out, but I'm going to go there because I've been around enough abused people, and I've even been abused. So I can tell you that when one has been abused, there's a cold-heartedness that sets up within yourself, unless of course you go through a deliverance process, healing, counselors, you name it. There's a coldness that sets up in you, and you vow that I'm not going to have this person take advantage of me. I'm not going to have anyone take advantage of me, whether that person abused you or not. You just make up in your mind that I'm not going to be a fool. Back when I was a child, I was powerless. I couldn't fight up against my aggressor. Then as I got older, went through my share of traumas and dramas, didn't quite understand why I was being verbally assaulted and then later physically abused, got involved with a person who was emotionally abusive, then got involved with the person who was emotionally